Hello, my name is Chuck. I've worked in quality assurance. I've worked in customer service for the past 15 years, and a call center for almost 5 years now, and a QA or quality assurance for the past year and a half. I wanted to go through and talk today about a serious topic, one that a lot of call center people don't tell you about. So, whenever you call into a call center, there are several things that happen. Number one, you're talking to a person, a live human being that, if we're being frank, may or may not be the cause of your problem. More often than not, they're not. They go through and have to deal with several things. One of the big things that they have to deal with is they have to deal with trying to make you happy in the course of one phone call. During that one phone call, you're rating them. Scale of 1 to 10 on how well you liked this representative, then scale of 1 to 10 on how well you like the company. The big thing that you don't hear about often is that the scale of 1 to 10, 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 means that they got a passing score. This is basically their benchmark. For 8 out of, whenever I was working retail, 7 or an 8 was a neutral score, and a 1 through 6 was a -1. I had to get a certain score, like an 80% or above, in order to be considered passing. So one bad call could mean that I have to get 3 or 4 or 5 perfect calls or interactions in order to go through and get what would get me up to my levels. So representatives stress out over these all the time, the numbers, trying to go through and get the scores they need. They also get scored on how well they did with the call, whether they followed the laws of the land, the company's policies, and whether they made you happy. So there are several things that go on behind the scenes that you never hear about. And if we're being frank, trying to balance between customer happiness and balancing between making sure that they follow the law and company policy is a very delicate balancing act. So one of the things that I highly recommend is whenever you call into a call center, take a deep breath and make sure that you give them just a little bit more leeway. Understand they're human beings, and most of the time, if you show the appreciation towards them, they'll show the appreciation back. So, first and foremost, call them by their name. They will introduce themselves to you. Most call centers require it, so start off by using their name. Most people never do this. And I can tell you it's a huge difference. They will light up. They will start to talk to you like you're a person more. If they're being robotic, use their name will light them up so much. And understand that if you think they're doing well, let them know, hey, I'm going to go through and leave you a good score if you, at the end of this interaction, because you did awesome. And you can go through and request kudos for a manager, but what I like to do personally is after I'm done with the phone call, after I've had a little bit of time to relax, I'll go through and give a call back and ask the next representative to make sure that they get a shout out over the great interaction that they did. Because it's the fact that you can go through and request for like a supervisor just to let them know kudos, but just be prepared to spend some time. Managers love to hear that their agent did an amazing job, and it really does help out the agent on going through and getting them a good pat on the back. I would just double check with the agent and see, because working in a call center, I have to go through and reset myself every time I took a phone call, because I could be on cloud 9 having gone above and beyond, and the next call comes in angry. I did nothing, previous rep did, or there was a miscommunication between something that happened. This is something that happens more often than I care to admit in a call center, is if there's not a smooth line of communication, the rep you're talking to gets the short end of the stick. Now, on the flip side, having to reset yourself from a terrible call where you had someone who you couldn't make happy, then having to switch and reset yourself is sometimes a very hard tool. But once you get used to it, it's not so bad, but it's just getting that person who can reset themselves. And just talking to people, treat them like people. This is something that I don't think can be iterated enough. The other thing is that asking questions can also be amazing once you've built a rapport with the rep you're with. And just ask them, hey, what do you recommend? What would you do? So this is just one of those things that I like to at least talk to people about, is ask them if there's anything that further they could recommend. Because if you ask them about it, they may be able to give you an option, or they can advise you on ways to save your time. Representatives, once you build some rapport with them, will go through and do it using their name, asking them questions, being nice and kind. Anger generally doesn't work. It gets you hung up on. If you go through and do it, and most companies will have, see my other video about escalations, if you want to see further on how managers can go through and disconnect to people if people are being abusive. I don't blame companies for having that policy. For every good customer out there, like Amazing Saint customer, there's also the one that they need the policy for. If there's a policy for it, there's probably a reason why it exists. But I just figured I would just talk for a few minutes about some of the things I personally think about and some of the things I think you should think about as well. These are valuable topics because if you go through and use an agent's name, go through and make sure that they know that you'll give them a good score. When I say good score, don't give that 8. Don't give that 7. If the rep did a great job, give them a 9. If they did an amazing, over-the-top job, crowd goes wild, make sure to give them that 10 and leave a glowing verbatim about what an amazing job they did, because each team has a leader. The team leaders, every single one of them reads the verbatims that get left for them, and they will give shout outs to their team because most people like to brag about their agents. So just keep that in mind, and next time you call into a call center, try a few of these out. Generally, you'll find you'll have better interactions, and at the end of our day, if our day goes smoother and our customer's day goes smoother, or on your end, if the agent's day goes smoother and they cause your day to go smoother, even better. Just remember, this is not legal or financial advice. This is just me going through and just giving some opinions on this. I hope these opinions help you out if you need, and please like and subscribe if you want to. Leave a comment on any particular topics you would like to hear me talk about. I would love the chance to get to talk to you about different things. I just need the topics, and you as the audience can go through and provide them for me, and I can give you some insights on my opinions. Either way, I hope you have an amazing night, stay safe, and have a good one. Goodbye.